Okay, y'all. Can I talk to you for a second? Let me see if I can move this camera. So, when you're working on bags, do you sometimes associate emotions or what's going on with the bag that you're working on? Because I do. Like, usually when I think of a bag that I've made, I think about what was going on in that time frame. In this bag, I have just had the worst feels with it. And I hate that because I love the bag, I love the pattern, I love the person that I'm making it for. I have just struggled to get it done because when I first started it, it was, I had gotten sick. So I just remember being really sick and knowing that I needed to make this bag and not being able to start it because I was just too sick. And then after that, my machine broke. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have this bag. I don't have a machine for weeks. And so that was attached to it. And then I wound up getting a really large order, which I was excited about, but also it gave me anxiety because I know that it's so hard. It takes so much time to get bags done. So I'm now thinking of all these other responsibilities that I have going on, and I get really bad anxiety and stress. So that all of those feelings have been tied up with this bag. And so it has just given me this feeling of dread. Like, it takes everything for me to work on it because I just feel so overcome when I think about this bag, and I hate it. And today I am going to finish this bag. I don't care. No more excuses. I'm going to finish this bag today. So, you know, again, I apologize for those of you who were making it with me that I've taken so long. It has been a struggle, and it has been, this bag is like my shame. Like, I am so disappointed in myself for taking so long to do this bag. But it is what it is. I'm going to finish it today. The person who I'm making it for has just been so nice and kind about it. But I still I hate that it's taken me this long. But anyway, and I'm sorry for everyone who was waiting for me to make it. A lot of people I saw went ahead and made theirs, and they look great. You know, y'all don't need me. I'm just here, you know, for whatever. But y'all got this. But yeah, today we're going to finish it. So I just wanted to say that really quick. Thanks for sticking in there with me. And yeah, let's get this Brooklyn. Let's get it finished. Okay. You can't even really see the bag. It's so big. I wish there was a way. My arm is really long. Okay, anyway. So you can see that after I finish my zipper, getting it attached and top stitched and all of that, I decided I wanted to add some double cap rivets to it. Probably not necessary, but if you don't know me, I like to overkill. And I just wanted to make sure that these connectors are sturdy enough to hold the weight of this bag. And so I just did the holes all the way through the exterior and the lining, and attached 2 double cap rivets just to make sure there's a little bit of extra strength. Okay, moving forward. Why is my zipper wonky? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the inside really quick and trim around that extra stabilizer. I never trimmed that down. So I'm going to trim it so it's about 1/8 or 1/4 past the seams. Now, if you want to, you can get rid of the whole piece in the middle. I'm going to leave it because it's already there. But when I did my first bag, I didn't put this whole piece in the middle. I only put a little strip on the sides, but I'm fine with it being there. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay. So now what we wanna do is open this up. And we want to line up our lining. We want our lining panels together and our exterior panels together. Now you're probably not going to be able to see all of it just because this bag is so big. But so right now I have my lining, my two linings, right sides touching, and my zipper, you know, this is in the middle, and then this is my exteriors touching. And you want to start where we have that indentation that we cut out, that little mark in the corners, match those up and pin it. I swear I have like a million clips and pins until I need clips and pins. So I'm going to start here, and I'm gonna go ahead and clip along the sides, and I'm gonna do that on both sides of my lining and also my exterior. Try your best to get those pieces on the side to match up. If you did, you know, an accent piece, try your best to get them to line up. They should naturally, but I would start there and then pin down just so it can look, you know, good. Okay, so we've got both of our sides pinned, the lining and the exterior. We're not doing anything with this part right here that's open. See that? This area right here, we're not doing anything with that. We're gonna start sewing where this notch is. So our seam allowance on our exterior is going to be 1/2 inch. We're gonna start at 1/2 inch and go all the way down the side and end at 1/2 inch on both sides. For our lining, we're going to be sewing at 5/8 inch seam allowance. Now, that may cause you to come in a little bit further than where this notch ends. It's okay. Measure in 5/8 inch, and that's your seam allowance for your lining. Now, I will say that we're going to be turning our bag through the side of our lining. So what you want to do is sew down about 1 inch and stop. So we're going to sew down 1 inch, stop, make sure that you back stitch really, really good because we're going to be turning the entire bag through here, okay? So we're going to leave that open, and then at the very bottom, we're going to be sewing 1 inch as well, back stitching really good because we're going to turn the bag through it. So seam allowance for the exterior is 1/2 inch. Seam allowance for the lining is 5/8 inch with an opening. And I will be adding a second stitch along the side of my exterior just for reinforcement for the bag, okay? Okay, so I'm going to start with my exterior piece. You see me? Yeah, kinda. Sorry, my head is all in the video. All right. Oh, I gotta turn my machine on. Oh gosh. And I'm kind of holding the weight of the bag as I'm sewing it to help it move along. Lower my pressure, my foot a little bit just to help the fabric not to move around too much. back stitching. There we go. Now I'm going to head on over to the lining. This one we are doing at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So that we don't have a super baggy lining, you know? Ugh. Get that zipper out of the way. There we go. There we go. And I'm going slightly in past where that crease is at. Or if you want to start at the crease and then slowly go out to 5/8 inch, I don't think it really matters. Honestly. Oh, snap. I forgot to pull my thread. My machine doesn't like when I do that. Okay. Too much going on. I forgot to pull my dang thread. These industrial machines are sensitive, okay, honey? If they tell you to pull the thread at the beginning, then hold the thread. You need to hold the thread at the beginning, okay? If you don't want no problems anyway, and I don't want no problems. I'm gonna pull all the thread I can grab right now. Alright. Alright, and we're doing this at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I know I've said it several times, but I'm saying it again. And I do want to make sure that, because I'm kind of guesstimating it, but I need my lining bottom to fit. So I am going to grab my ruler right when I get to the very end and make sure that I am at 5/8 of an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. Okay. Repeat the same thing to the other side. Hit my lining up real quick. things have slightly gotten off up here in this little corner with the squares, do your best to get it even, but don't fret too much about it, because the way that the little piece that we made is going to go over the ends, it's forgiving. So don't stress out too much about it. Oh, snap! We were supposed to stop after an inch. Dang it, boy. Alright, so I'm just going to go back over that so that I can stop at the 1 inch mark, and then I'll just rip those seams out. Okay. Do you ever go crazy when you do your back stitching at the end? Like, I have to stop myself. Because I'll just go, like, what are you doing? You only need to backstitch twice, baby. Relax. When I first started sewing, I used to go nuts on the backstitching. I don't know why. I was just like, I just really need to backstitch. This needs to be the best backstitch ever. I don't want it to come apart. And then I realized all I was doing was tearing up my fabric. The things that we learn the more we sew, you know? It's a fun process. I think I'm over making bag orders as far as like custom bags, because it hasn't been very fun for me lately. I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to go to just making a bag, and when I make the bag, I sell it, and that's it. I don't know. We'll see. People love custom bags. I'm just getting a little burnt out on it. What do y'all think? Do any of you guys do custom bags, or do you just make what you make and try to sell it? Alright. Now I am going to go and add a second stitch to my exterior fabric really quick. All these threads are driving me nuts, honey. Over it. Okay. Almost took my light out. This bag is huge. Can't wait to finish it. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Nice. Got him. Back to the drawing board. Okay, so I went ahead and trimmed my seam allowances, except along the bottom part of the exterior. I left that as it was so that we can open it up later when we attach it to the bottom piece. Also, I did not trim the seam allowance that we left open on the lining, because we like to have that extra material when we're going to be sewing that up later. So we can set this aside. Make sure that you have your midpoints marked on your lining and on your exterior panel. If you don't have those marked, go ahead and do that now. Let's grab our bottom pieces, the exterior and the lining. And again, and make sure that you have your midpoint marked on these ends, and also your midpoint marked here. Once you've done that, grab your exterior piece and then grab those little, remember we made those little connectors a little while ago? We're gonna grab those and place them at the midpoint on either side so that the edge of it is flush with the edge of the panel. Now you see this sticking out, that's my Kraft text that I stuck in there. I'm lining up the edge of my actual fabric with the edge of this, okay? And I'm just eyeballing it, finding the center. Perfect. Same thing with the other. And I'm gonna go and get these basted on at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And so the exterior piece right now is right side facing up. It's right side, the exterior. The exterior is facing up. And then we place these on top, okay? All right, once we have those attached, we're gonna grab our main panel. God, this thing is heavy. Okay, and what we want to do is line up all of our mid pieces. So, I've got my main panel and I've got my bottom piece, and I'm going to match up the points that I marked earlier as the midpoints. So the correct side of my bottom is touching the correct side of my exterior. Right sides are touching. I'm going to pin that. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing for the other side. Match up those midpoints. Okay, so now you get to your curves, and if you like, you can go ahead and add some snips to help everything lay together a little bit more smoothly. And then you can keep everything lined up. And attach it along the top, keeping your edges aligned. And there will be some puckering, but it's not really a big deal. Now what I like to do is to let my material ride up a little bit to where the puckering isn't quite as bad. And then I just trim where that extra material is overlapping a little bit. And that helps with the puckering because you just let it kind of naturally ride up to where there's not so much puckering going on. That's what I like to do. It worked for me. Try it. All right, now let's go and get this attached at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. And just like when I did the sides, I am going to go right behind it and add another layer or another top stitch just to make sure that it's reinforced really good. And when I sew this, I am going to sit it on my machine this way, with the bottom piece facing up. I just find like that it's a little bit easier that way. So yeah, I'm gonna go and get the sides sewn on, and then I'm gonna reinforce the entire thing. My gosh, this is heavy. I got it. I always try to hold the weight of the bag, because if you let it drag, oh man. If you let the bag drag, then you know it's going to be pulling at the bag, and so you're going to have some kind of, you're going to start to get like distortion along these seams, because it's pulling in you know, in a direction as opposed to sewing straight down on it. So it does get a little hard when you start working with these heavy bags, but you have got to take the time to do it right. My material was slipping underneath there, so I had to go in, do a little bit of seam ripping to make sure I get everything back on track, because what I don't want is any wonky curves on this bag. Too much time and energy. I need it to be as close to perfect as possible. Okay? I'm not a perfectionist, but I would like to get pretty dang close. I'm gonna have to stop pretty soon to pick my daughter up from school. And I really was on a roll, man. Oh well. It is what it is. Alright, let me go back to where I was. I need an assistant to like hold the bag for me while I sew it. Wouldn't that be awesome, y'all? Yeah, it's just please hold it right here. Thanks. I'm going to knock this over and I am going to lose my shit. Alright, you got it, Ray. Take your time. Alright, I'm going to just keep going, because like I said, I wanted to get that second stitch along my straight edge anyway. Whew! Alright, and now I'm going to continue over that curve. Try to open up that seam allowance in that midpoint. I'll lift my foot up so we can get over this big hump. Got it. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, my machine was like, it's a little too much, Mama. Sometimes you gotta help it out. All right. And you know what? I'm actually going to turn it over because the line that I'm concerned about at this point is my exterior, because my bottom part has done a little shifting, which is fine. I don't mind that. But I want to keep everything in line with this bottom exterior piece because that's what is going to give me the shape of the bag. So I'm going to flip this over really quick. And sew it this way while that way I can see what's going on and make sure that my seam allowance is exactly the same around the entire thing. Alright, I think that'll do it. Okay, y'all, I have to apologize. I am so sorry. I did this wrong. Oh my gosh. I was supposed to put the swivel hook on and then close it and then sew that seam. I am so sorry. That's why I shouldn't go live. I swear I get distracted, I get nervous, and then I start making mistakes. So if you followed me, I am so sorry. Please don't get mad at me. I messed up. That's what we were supposed to do. And then we were supposed to line these up like that. And then we were supposed to sew that. And when we did it, we were supposed to sew up as close as we can get to the swivel hook, across and down, and then stop in that same position. So I'm so sorry, y'all. So I'm just going to line it up. And right now I will be heading over to the machine and I'm going to be sewing exactly on top of my top stitch that's already there. Okay. Now I'm going to go and sew right on top of what's there as best I can and stop at the same marks we stopped at before. Okay, so let me say that I went ahead and finished constructing my lining the same way that I did my exterior as far as the bottom. The only difference was for my lining bottom, I attached it at 5/8 of an inch as opposed to 1/2 of an inch. Now, I went ahead and trimmed down the seam allowance on my bottom piece as well as my lining, and then I turned the bag out through the hole that I left in the lining. Now make sure before you get your bottom added that you go ahead and open up your zipper. I forgot to and had to go and if you forgot like me, no big deal. What I did was I made a little hole in my exterior panel and I reached in and pulled it. But try to remember to go ahead and get your zipper unzipped before you close all of that up. Also, be careful, not be careful, but what you can do is pull your zipper through if you like. It's not a big deal if you didn't. Like right now, my zipper is, you know, kind of inside out. So I'm just going to pull it through. I do have something attached to the end of it so that it wouldn't come loose, but it doesn't matter if it comes loose, honestly. It doesn't matter. It's all going to get cut off anyway. So right now I'm going to pull my zipper through. Okay, there we go. Same thing on the other side. Get your zipper pulled through. Okay. There we go. And now I am going to actually go ahead and trim my zipper down, I believe. Let me see. So we want to take this and bend it at the corners. So basically the seam on the side, we want to line that seam up with the middle of the zipper. Does that make sense? So you want to grab that material inside the lining and the exterior and flatten it as best you can. And line up the zipper with the lining. There we go. And what we're going to do, I'm gonna go ahead and trim that off. It doesn't need to be there. Now what we're gonna do is take the piece that we just made and we're gonna open it up and slide that in. And we're gonna slide it down as far as we can get it to go. Okay. Now, if you like, you can slide it down to where this ends, where the corner, you know what I'm saying? Because if you push it in further, you see how it kind of overlaps it. I personally don't think it matters. I actually kind of like the way it looks overlapped. You know me. Yeah, I think I'm going to let it overlap just a little bit, as opposed to right there. What do you think? I guess I'll let it stop right there. Who knows? I'll let it stop right there. That looks good. All right, so I'm going to pin to keep it in place. Now, I will say the first time I made this bag, I had a little bit of trouble at this part. It just kind of didn't want to stay while I was trying to get it attached. I wasn't in love with it. So I told myself this time I would use a little bit of cement glue to make it stay in place. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do that or just go about my business. I think I'm going to use a little bit of cement glue. I wish I had turned on my my hot glue gun, because I would have used that, but I didn't. So I'm going to apply a little bit of this. And that's just because, like I said, last time I did this, it was a lot of shifting, and it just was a lot of moving, and I don't know, I just don't like when I don't feel like stuff is exactly perfect, so it got on my nerves. This will help it stay where I want it to stay. Not as much fighting with the material, you know, because this bag is heavy. So that's what you don't want, is holding the weight of this heavy bag while trying to make sure nothing is shifting. It gets pretty tough. Why did I do that? That was stupid. Sometimes I just don't know what I be thinking. I don't be thinking. Okay. And I'm going to let all of this marinate for about 15 minutes. And then it will be ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Folding it so that the middle of the zipper seam, even though it's open, I don't have the real middle, you know. I can still see where that mid mark is, see? And I'm going to, I can see the mid mark on this side piece, and I'm going to line my zippers up with that as best I can. I'm going to trim the zipper. Okay, so what I think is going to be the easiest way for me is to start this way. Kind of got it between my legs. I'm going to start right where I left off. Let's get everything situated. I cannot ever say situated. I can never say situated. Situated. Situate. Why can't I say that? That's crazy. Situated. 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 Over it. Situated. Oh my gosh, that's like my nemesis. That word is my nemesis. Okay, I'm gonna put it down, check my needle. Yep, looks good to me. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna lower my foot just a little bit to help it stop, not move around too much, you know? Alright. Hey, sweetie.
You done with your video?
No, I'm recording right now, actually.
Oh, so I can stay quiet for you. You wait.
No, it's okay. What do you need, baby?
I'm about to go to bed.
Yes, as you should. It's late.
Good night.
Good night, baby girl. You gonna give me some sugar?
Yeah. I will give you sugar.
I love when you give me sugar.
And today, I cleaned out the bag. Then
Give me a kiss.
I'm gonna give you 100 sugar.
100 sugar? That's a lot, girl. Give me a
And I'm
kiss.
gonna hug you. And kiss
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
And you come to the couch, then I may kiss you more.
Okay, let me hurry up and get this finished, and then I can come down, rub your
I can
belly.
give you more. And tomorrow, when we go to sleep, then I can rub your feet.
You gonna rub mommy's feet? Ooh, I love get my feet massaged, girl. You be lying. You always say that. You never massage my feet.
But tomorrow I'm gonna.
Tomorrow you're gonna do it for real?
Yeah.
All right. That's
For
what's
nighttime.
up. Okay. All right. Good night, baby. Love you.
Done.
Okay. So when you get to the corner, you're gonna want to pivot it, and it's gonna be a pain because it's a lot of bags. So just, you know, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Turn it. I'm making sure that I am moving the material over more than what I need to, just because we don't want it pulling. We don't want the material pulling because that's when stuff starts to get wonky. So get it over a little bit more than what you really need it to be, just to make sure there's no wonkiness going on. Okay, and now we're just going to take our time. Take your time. I need somebody to come hold this bag for me. Dave! Just kidding. Smush the bag if you need to. Don't be scared. It's okay. Don't worry about the wrinkles later. Right now we just want to make sure that everything is where it is supposed to be. Shoot. Okay, this is the part that's almost impossible. I don't feel like trying to get my bag all the way through here, this little hole. So what I'm going to do is just sew it backwards. Okay? So just take your time. I'm going to hold my foot down for backwards, and I'm going to very slowly. Okay, now I'm going to forward stitch and back stitch just to make sure it's secure, and there we go. All right, now we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Okay, so for my strap, I've decided I'm going to use this webbing that I have. And then I'm going to use my yellow fabric, so it's going to be two-toned. So my webbing is 1.5 inch wide. So I went ahead and cut my fabric 3 inches wide. And then I drew a line down the middle long way. And what I'm going to do basically is fold it in to the midpoint. And then I'm going to attach it to this webbing. Because this webbing is super, super thick. I like the way that feels. So that's what I'm going to do. This webbing is super, super thick. I love it. I do have it available on my website if you also like to use webbing for your straps. Is this on? Am I out already? Jeez. All right, my loves. We are almost done. Let's see. Where is my adjuster? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take one end of my strap, and I want this is going to be the correct side, the side I want to show. So I'm going to take that and bring it up. Oh no, my edge coat isn't dry. All right, we're going to wait a little bit and try this again later. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get this finished up. So let's do the strap. I can't remember if I went over it or not. If I didn't, I used, this really thick webbing. It's available on my store. Just because the last time I made a duffel, I used some, what is that seatbelt webbing, and I did not like it. It was too thin to me. I don't know. It was too thin for the size and the weight of the duffel bag. So I wanted something a little bit sturdier. So I did order this. It's a really thick, like you can see it, like it's a really thick webbing, kind of stiffer, like you can see, and I love it. It feels great. So what I did was and this is available on my site if you are looking for something like that, like me. Like I like my straps to be sturdy and not to be slipping on the hardware. Like, yeah. So anyway, I use that, and then I use my yellow fabric, and I cut my yellow, and this webbing is 1.5 inch. I have 1.5 and also 1 inch. So I cut my material by 3 inches, drew a line down the middle, folded it in, and then I just placed it on top of this and connected them together. Okay, now let me show you what I did here, which I think is actually pretty cool. It kind of just happened. So my material is a little bit longer than my webbing, probably about 1.5 inches long. It only needs to be maybe 1 inch longer. And what I'm going to do is, because I didn't really want to do, I didn't want to have to coat edge paint this strap, but I also don't have a 1.5 inch, whatever you call that goes on the strap end. So what I'm going to do is take this, and I'm going to fold it over like that. Well, I'll show you when I get there. Right now, I'm going to take this end, and I want my black to be the outside. I want my yellow to be underneath as a pop of color. So I'm gonna grab my strap adjuster and have it right side facing up. And I'm gonna run my strap right side facing up, up over, and back down. Now, I will tell you this. The materials that I use today on this, I would not be able to do it on my domestic. So just be aware of your materials, because this fabric that I use is a pretty thick faux leather fabric, and this webbing is really thick. So if this was on my machine, I wouldn't be able to sew this together right now. Everybody's machine is different. My domestic couldn't handle it. So with that being said, I'm gonna head over. You can also do a rivet right here. I might just do a rivet instead. I think I'm gonna do a rivet. Definitely easier. All right, I'm gonna put 2 rivets on this, and I'm gonna get that attached really quick. Okay, I went ahead and added 2 rivets to this. Now I am going to just keep it right side facing up. Go down to the end. I'm going to take my swivel hook and get it on. Okay, run it back down. Okay. Okay, so I've got my swivel hook on. It's still right side facing up. Now I'm going to take this piece and run it up through one end. Okay. And then I'm going to run it back down through the other side. I got my nails done, and I told that lady to cut my nails down. I hate long nails. And you know how when you tell them to cut it and they're like, is this good? And you're like, no. And they do like barely more. Is this good? No. She did it like 6 times. And finally I said it's fine. But I don't like nails. I don't. And these are super long to me. Ugh, and I feel like I can't do anything. I know this is probably not long to you, but to me it's long. I don't wear... I like to just use my own nails and put acrylic over them, but my nerves have been bad. I've been biting my nails, so they were too low for me to do acrylic. So I had to get tips, and she just would not cut it down. Every time I have to fight with them, no matter where I go. They just can't believe that somebody wants tips that are barely over their nails, but that's what I want. Okay. You can do it, Ray. There we go. Wouldn't have this problem if I didn't have these nails. All right. Man, this strap feels good. This is nice. This is perfect for, oh, let me tell you what I did. I forgot to mention it. I'll tell you in a second. I'm going to pull this up because he's tall, and I know that if he does use it, it's going to be pulled pretty much all the way down. Okay, so now what I was talking about is okay, so the fabric part is about 1 inch longer than the webbing side, or it's going to be about 1 inch longer than the webbing side. Bam. Okay. It doesn't even need to be 1 inch long, maybe like 5/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is fold this over because I don't have a strap in. I'm gonna scoot it in just a little bit because I don't want anything to stick out the sides. I'm kind of extra. So I'm gonna just scoot those two pieces so they'll overlap each other a little bit. And then I'm going to just lay it down against my webbing, okay? And now I'm going to grab my swivel hook. Now my black is gonna be on top, but when I turn this over, it's gonna have a little bit of that fabric showing, which I think is kind of cool. Okay, and now I'm going to fold this over, just like that. And I'm going to head over to the machine and I'm going to top stitch. I think I'm going to do 2 lines. I'm going to go from where my seams ended before, here to here, pivot up, and then around, or back across and down. Just for some extra security. I think that'd be great. Okay, I'll be right back. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and sew as close as I can to this side of the swivel hook across and then down, across and back. Okay, so let me tell you what I did with this strap, which I thought was pretty cool. So this is the bottom side of my strap. Before I attached them together, I got a piece of foam. This is, I can't think of it. It's by Pelon. Flex foam or something like that. And I cut a strip about 1/2 inch wide and about, so what I did was I took my strap and I found the center of it and then I cut a strip, I don't remember, maybe like 15 inches or something like that. And I placed it down the center of the strap and I got it, you know, placed in between the fabric and the webbing and got it to stay there. And then I attached it. So this whole area, like from here to about here, has that foam in it, and it feels really good because I wanted it to be a little cushion for when it goes over their shoulder when they're carrying the bag because it's so big. But I didn't want to make one of those things that slide just because I've never made it. I've never made one of those before, and it's probably not too hard, but I just don't have time to find that how to do it for the first time while I'm trying to get this done really fast. But anyway, I did that and it feels great. It feels really good. So, and you know, you can cut it small enough so that it's not in your seam, so you shouldn't have an issue. Okay, now let's get our handle. This looks really good. I like this handle, y'all. It feels so good. Yes. He actually could wear it either way, I guess. Whatever mood he's in. Either side looks good. All right, so let's go get these handles on. All right, now I want my blue to show when it's being held like this. Okay, so if you have a different color, just figure out which side you want to show. I'm gonna go with blue. So therefore, I will be attaching it this way. Yeah. So all you're doing is putting it through and over. I'm trying to decide if I want to do rivets or sew it on. I think I'm going to sew it on. And I'll just sew across, up, across, down. I may even add a cross just for extra stability, you know? I think I will. I'm not measuring it, but I probably got it about 1 inch. If I had to guess, fold it over at about 1 inch. All right, and I do want to make sure that these stitches are straight. So I will be marking it with an erasable marker. I'll use my handy dandy ruler that my daughter broke. Perfect for things like this. All right. So I'm going to go I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than 1 inch just because this material is so thick. There we go. Okay, and so I want to sew across right here. Using my side seams as a guide. All right, and then I'm gonna go up about, this looks like, half of an inch. Yeah, I'll go down half of an inch from there. 1, 2, maybe 5/8 of an inch. I'll do 5/8 of an inch. Okay. And now I'm going to draw a cross. I'm going to repeat this to this side and the other handle as well. Oh my goodness, I just almost messed this up. These do not go here. This is where the the adjustable strap goes. Oh my goodness, I would have been so upset. So everything that I just said, still do it, but do it to these strap adjusters. I mean to these square rings. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I would have had to stop and go downstairs and make a drink if I had attached that to that other part. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I caught that. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now let's go do what I just said. There we go. Much better. I was like, why is this so wide? Gosh. Okay. I've got the handles on. It may have only been a second since I cut to this clip, but it has been a minute. Definitely some work getting those on with this big bag. Oh my gosh. I had enough time as I was doing that, you know, changing my needles that I broke, to think about how I can make my life easier. And what I decided was the next time I make this bag, I am going to add these handles to my square hardware before I add this to the bag. It just makes more sense. It's easier to finish making my bag dealing with the handle than it is to make my handle dealing with the bag. So the next time I make this, I'm going to get this attached to this D-ring before I get this D-ring attached to the main panel, and then it'll be all there, good and gravy, and when we finish turning the bag out, we're gonna just be finished, okay? So maybe, you know, do that if you haven't made this bag already in the future. Get that added first, because I tell you what. All right, anyway, so we're pretty much done. All we have to do is close that hole that we turned the bag through, and we're finished, y'all. Oh, I am so happy to be done with this bag. It has been a roller coaster for me. Oh, I'm trying to reach inside and open it up. It's so big. Oh, where's my light? Maybe we can get a look inside. There it is. There he is. This is the inside. Well, you know what's in there. What am I doing? You made it with me. Dar. But yeah, this is the Brooklyn enlarged 150%. I will get some pictures taken for you. Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty happy with the way, oh gosh. Okay. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. Yeah. Good stuff.